Nope, I gotta count them. No, don't touch anything yet. No, it's all good.
Count down, baby. 7.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Coming to you from the poorly painted studios in Cumming, Georgia, this is the Chuck and Z Show. And now, here's Chuck and Z.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chuck and Z Show. Of course, I'm Chuck.
I'm Z.
And I am super excited about today's show. We've got a really cool guest. As a matter of fact, I know because I get all like excited and I'll mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you do the intro because you're much better at it than me. I'm gonna be like, and he does this, and he does that. So yeah, right.
And all these things.
And all these things. So all right, so you go. I'm gonna let you do the intro.
All right. So today we have a special guest, Chef David Rose. Chef Rose is a Food Network and TV personality, a cookbook author of Eggin. David Rose cooks on the Big Green Egg, an Omaha Steaks executive chef and spokesperson, and serves as a national brand ambassador for Big Green Egg. So let's welcome Chef David Rose to the show.
Andy rides a Harley.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me. That was a very eloquent intro. I appreciate that. I do all those things. And a little more, and a little more.
A little bit more, right?
Nah, don't stop talking about me. A little bit more. Come on, a little bit more.
I've been taking Duolingo lately, so I might bust out on some random Spanish phrases.
Do some Spanish?
Here and there.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. How far are you into it?
How do you say 80 in Spanish? I haven't got to the numbers yet. 80 days.
Oh my gosh. 80.
Like, so but I'm learning,
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, I'm sure because you just came back from Mexico, right? You went to France and you went to Mexico.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
never home. I live in Atlanta, but I'm never here. I was in Mexico with a couple of friends and fellow Food Network buddies, Aaron Sanchez, Amanda Freitag, and we worked with the U.S. consulate over in Mexico and just pretty much went all over Mexico, Mexico City, the outskirts, and just submerged ourselves in the culinary and kind of traded recipes, traded stories, and learned authentic. None of that, lettuce and tomatoes and American cheese taco stuff. Authentic Mexican food there for a week, and it was awesome.
That's so cool. So how does authentic Mexican food compare to like where we La Parrilla over here in Georgia?
So, as far as usage of different proteins and vegetables, where, mostly over there, they're eating, corn tortillas. Very rarely do you see a flour tortilla, if any. A lot of masa, where you have, carnitas made of lamb as opposed to traditionally, pork.
Wow.
A lot of sausage, a lot of different, insects actually as well, like, crickets, worms, all different types of things. A lot of vegetables, elote, a lot of corn, a lot of cactus, different types of usages of the cactus, and it was just
Wow.
awesome, man. It was great. It was flavorful, and really, really a lot of deeply rooted in kind of Aztec kind of cuisine from thousands of years that date back. And Mexico is the birthplace of corn, so corn is in everything. They call themselves the children of the corn, so it was unlike the movie with the little blonde kids that kill people, but the birthplace of corn. So it was awesome. It was beautiful. Great time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's my favorite food, and to be Mexican food, Hispanic food, I actually don't think you should be hating on La Parrilla.
I'm not hating.
Even though I wouldn't consider them to be, the upper echelon of Mexican food, there's a place for La Parrilla, right? You need some fast tacos. You got a lunch meeting. It's pretty quick and in and out. But for my money in Atlanta, and obviously want your opinion on this, but Nuevo Laredo and Hola Mexico, those are two of my favorite spots in Atlanta.
Nuevo Laredo is my favorite.
Nuevo
Really?
is so
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
It's so good.
Nuevo's my favorite. Like it's just official. It's like they got somebody's abuela back there, like making tortillas and making all the barbacoa and the different stews and meats and enchiladas, and it's just so much flavor,
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so. I guess contagious in the U.S. is just like the flavor and the cheeses and different preparations. You got crispy, you got crunchy. I'm a huge fan of textures and heat, where you have like the hot sauce, the hot enchilada sauce, and the cool sour cream and the cheese. It's really sexy kind of food.
Yeah.
That's so good. When we were in Cabo, I think one of my favorite experiences, we went to this place called The Office. If you're ever there, definitely check it out. It's in Cabo.
Okay.
So leave the resort
On the beach.
in the beach. It's on the beach. Yeah, you're right there eating on the beach. And they came out to like the menu was a plate with a bunch of stuff they just caught. Right.
Yeah.
It's like they
Nice.
just like they're dragging it in and they're like, what is this stuff? While the stuff is still kind of wiggling on the plate. It's like, what do you want? And I was like, this is really cool. And plus the view is amazing. And the food was like, you could tell like the tortillas, they do this at Papacitos, right? You see them making tortillas at Papacitos, but you could tell they ground this stuff, right? They ground it. Yeah, they did this themselves for sure. It's good food. Yeah.
It is, man, and they're a very proud people. Like you meet a Mexican, you don't have to guess or wonder or worry. They'll say, "Hello, my name is X. I'm Mexican."
Yeah.
Like they're gonna let you know straight up front where they're from, and you just gotta love and admire that just pride for their country.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what's up next on your tour? Like, what are you doing? You just came back from France and Mexico. So where are you headed next?
I think I'm gonna go camp again. I actually just came from a 12-day little journey from Atlanta to Utah, St. George, Utah, and back with my Jeep, and just camping and overlanding and cooking in the great outdoors of America. And it's a beautiful country. Like I always say this, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, we already know this. We discussed about this. My number one method of transportation and getting from point A to point B is on the motorcycle. But my Jeep, the way I got it set up, I just love being outdoors. And I think I'm going to go camping again. Not sure yet where, but I'm going to definitely go camp somewhere in the near future, probably the next week or so.
Okay, awesome. So what do you ride, Chef?
What do I ride? Well, I have two motorcycles. My original Harley, it's a 2010 Fat Boy Low matte black. It's got the fishtails, it's got the 8 hangers on there, 16s, black on black. I got about 50,000 miles on that. That's the OG baby right there. And then I got a 2021 Road Glide matte black, not matte black, but blacked out completely, smoked out lenses, the whole 9, 131 kit. 8 hangers on there, and the warranty just ended, so I'm gonna dig up in that engine. I'm gonna dig up in that engine. It can do it. It could be faster.
You're gonna go put a cam in there.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. So did you do a crate 131 or did you do a build up to the 131?
It was a build up. Yeah.
Nice.
So I got the 117, and then I built it up from there, and like it's significantly better. But I like to go fast. Like, Ricky Bobby, I like to go fast.
Yeah.
You're the first to last.
It's funny. I love that movie to death, but you're either first or last, which is great. It's a great catch line from the movie, right? But my favorite part is when his dad just wrecks it.
Well,
He's
hell,
like,
Bobby.
He's like, well, hell, Bobby, that don't even make no sense. You can be second or third. Hell, you could even be fourth.
I think he was high on peyote when he said
I think I was high on peyote when I said that.
I literally based my entire life on that.
You can tell we watched that movie a few times. All of us.
It's a classic. It's a classic. And like Step Brothers is like the
oh my God
sequel. That's unofficial.
Did we just become best friends?
Do you want to go out in the garage and do karate?
Wow, David, you're on our level. You got the 131. You have the Ricky Bobby, and then Talladega Nights, and now Step Brothers. That's 3 things that we all have in common.
I know, right?
Yep. Hey, great minds think alike.
For sure.
So we both rock 131s. Actually, these are our fourth 131s. We had 131s in our lowriders, and then we put
Nice.
131s in our current Road Glides. And then I don't know if we're doing a new build where we're building 2 brand new bikes. Oh, he's aware.
He knows.
Okay, and we're doing 131s, 550 cams. We're going all out on these bikes, man.
Yeah.
Really? Who does your work? Because I need somebody locally. Ideally locally. Not too far of a ride where I could kind of, have them hook me up.
Yeah.
So,
we have some guys. Currently we're getting built at Killer Creek in Roswell.
I know those guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll say this, and we've been working with Killer Creek for a while. A lot of, thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
A lot of people are like,
Cheers,
bro, man.
Salud.
Salud. A lot of times people, will, you're getting your work done at a dealership. And I would say that most dealerships, that's a concern. They're trying to get these bikes in and out. They're trying to maximize the lift time, all that good stuff. But Killer Creek, this is what the fourth bike they've built for us. And no, this is the fifth and sixth bike they built for us. And every time, man, they just go the extra mile to make sure that they test the things they're supposed to test. They even test the run out. I mean, they just do a great job of building the bikes. And then we're having all of our custom paint work done by Southern Cycles, Sean.
Oh.
And, yeah, I'm super. I cannot wait. That skateboard over there is what her paint job looks like.
Right here. I'll need to pull up more pictures. Yeah. But I have
Send that to me later.
I will. We have the Billard Teal. My current bike is the Billard Teal. But then I'm going to put, some nice highlights with that yellow, and it's going to flow a nice fade into the Billard Teal. So you'll get some greens in there.
Well, since we're talking bikes, let's do that. How'd you get in the ride, my man?
It's crazy, man. I legit come from a family of bikers and motorcycle aficionados, where it goes all the way back to Jamaica.
Holy cow!
Very deep in Jamaica, where my great uncle used to ride motorcycles, and a lot of places in the world outside of the U.S., that's kind of the cheapest and most efficient way to get around. So my mom would tell me stories. She rode on the motorcycle once and only once when she was 10, because they were up in the hills of Jamaica, and he's hitting the curves, dragging his knees. And she's like, go slower. He's going faster. So my uncle, he passed 4 or 5 years ago. He used to ride. My cousins rode coming up, so I was always surrounded by it. And, I learned on a sport bike and, I was 18 years old. And I like going fast. So I realized, I was like, if I buy one of these, I got to get a Harley. So I think everybody kind of in, my age range from mid-30s to mid-40s, probably even 50s, when Terminator 2 came out, Arnold on that Fat Boy, he was just giving people the business on that Fat Boy. So, when I turned 28, I guess, the first bike I knew I had to get was the Fat Boy. So I've ridden on people's bikes between 18 and 28, but the first bike I got was, the Fat Boy when I was 28, and I loved that bike. Loved it.
All right. Keep talking. I got a technical issue. Keep talking.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Blast from the Past, I did see your feature on Harley. So how did that come about?
It's funny. It's crazy. During the time, it was 2010, 11 or so, give or take a year. Harley was doing this campaign. It was called Harley Davidson Iron Elite, where I think one video was out at the time where they're in Milwaukee talking to different, African-American riders about the history of Harley, what African-American cultures contributed, towards it so much. The Captain America bike, those builders, and just World War II veterans coming back and just kind of tinkering and kind of making these first custom choppers and motorcycles. So I had a chance encounter with the head of marketing at the time. His name was John Comasong, I believe. He's no longer with the company. But it was at this event. He was talking about like, marketing and Harley. And I was like, man, like you should really come to Atlanta. You should do some
Yeah.
videos, introduce you to my friends. We ride around, we chop it up, we talk. And you should come to Atlanta and film. So like, he's like, okay, cool. We switched info. I never thought twice about it. And like, 2 months go by and he hits me up. He's like, we're coming to Atlanta. They came to Atlanta and I was riding with the motorcycle club at the time. The bike club was called Iron Bread.
Okay.
Iron, and Bread, BRED. And they just kind of, rode with me, Kings of the South, Rare Breed. And just we talked about, our personal histories with motorcycles and Harleys and the riding culture. And they loved it so much, they came back and they documented our ride from Daytona, from Atlanta to Daytona and back for Bike Week. And we took pictures, photography, stuff like that. And then, when everything concluded, they pretty much made me the face of the campaign where they had a patch with me on it. We did 3 videos. They kind of cut it up into, I started going around the country kind of touring essentially these big Iron Elite parties where I get invited out and just like do these big meet and greets, huge events, food, drinks, partying, dancing. And it was dope. It was fun. It was great. There's actually a picture, I got to find it somewhere, where they had a freedom jacket where Malcolm Jamal Warner and F. Gary Gray, they kind of took over the campaign, the next video, and they had this jacket called the Freedom Jacket where they sewed the patch on. And there's a picture where one of the lead designers for Harley is holding the jacket up with the Pope at the time, and the Pope is pointing to my patch.
Oh, wow.
And it's pretty cool. I'll send it to you. But the cool thing about motorcycles, and food, why I think I gravitate towards them so much, is that, regardless of where you're from, religion, creed, language, ethnicity, a badass bike and some good ass food, you just know there's no words needed, just that, that subtle nod, that look when you taste something, just your face lights up. The same things happen with food. And I just think the two just really bring the masses together and bring so much happiness. So I think that's why, a chef in me and the biker in me just love to travel and love to see the world because of how those two things bring the masses together.
That's so true. That is so true. You like pull up anywhere and someone's going to have something to say about your motorcycle, a comment, a conversation. Like I used to ride, or I'm riding now, or I want to get into riding. And it's always like, it opens up just different avenues, and I love it. I love meeting new people. And I think that that's what I really enjoy about being a part of the motorcycle community, not just getting out on the road and like relieving the stress of the week, of the day, whatever, but also, and seeing beautiful sights, but also just having those connections with people, that there's something in common that you have with them. And outside of that, like you probably wouldn't have anything to talk about, right? But it's that motorcycle. It's something that brings you together, just like food, just like you said. Yeah, food does that too.
Yeah. I mean, hell, even people who don't ride, they want to talk to you. Well, I mean, most people want to tell you about their sister's, uncle's, brother's, cousin's wife who died in a wreck. That's the first thing.
Yeah, there's always that one person. Yeah.
But it's funny. A lot of people die in beds, but no one goes, hey, I don't sleep in beds. You know why?
Yeah.
A lot of people die in those things. But I'm like, but as soon as someone sees you on a motorcycle, they're like, let me tell you about this horrific accident that happened. Yeah. And it's like, dude, keep that to yourself. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. The only thing that's promised in life is death and taxes. And I know more people who have passed away in car accidents, God rest their souls, than motorcycles. So my thing is, you're going to die. There's no getting around that. Nobody is going to escape and evade that exit. We're all going there. So you might as well enjoy yourself within reason, within, practicalities and a certain, facade of safety around you. But live your life, man. Like, because when I die, when I'm on my deathbed, I'm old and decrepit at the ripe old age of 145 years old.
That's right. You'll get there.
45. I'm like, damn, I had a great life. And I will be happy. I don't want to die with regrets. I don't want to die saying I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I just kind of want to leave all the cards out on the table. And I think I'm doing that, and I love life. I love adventure. And just do you. That's all I say. Do you. You do you. I do me. live your life.
Exactly.
It's interesting. I watched the Harley video where you guys were featured on it, and you're such a nice guy. And the vast majority of the people that I meet that are in the biker community are nice people, genuine nice people. But man, if you watch that video, you're like, dang, those dudes are hard. Like when you see us on the bikes though, like when you look at the video and you see you're on this machine, you're like the engine's loud, you got skulls everywhere and shit's blinging. Like when you look at it, you're like, those dudes are hard. Then they get off, they're like, let me tell you about my recipe for,
Let me tell you about my new chicken parmesan.
Yeah, did you see Moulin Rouge? Have you seen that movie?
Moulin Rouge, bits and pieces with Ewan McGregor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's my point is like these hard dudes get off the bike and they're talking about musicals or they're talking about, food or whatever. It cracks me up. But the video, again, whoever shot that, you dudes look hard. It's like, just, there's one dude there's a dude with like a flame torch and he's like just holding it for no reason. He doesn't do anything with it. He just has it. Right?
That was me.
That was you.
I mean, lighting a cigar up.
He said for no reason.
He just holding it.
I'm gonna tell you how that story went. I was smoking a cigar, which I always do, on the motorcycle. He's like, we got a road flare. Do you mind lighting the cigar? But I was like, sure, why not? They were like, you might get hurt, but go ahead and try it anyway. I was like, fuck, whatever. And it turned out pretty cool. I still have all these features going.
Right.
My face isn't melted. So that's the story behind it.
Yeah.
He said, light it up with the flare, and I
Those
did.
Harley crews are definitely concerned with safety, right? Because they were very, hey, Chuck, I got yelled at. So, dude, I stand up so much on the bike. Like when I'm in corners, I love standing up and leaning the bike as hard as I can. So I'm always standing. So they were in our headsets and they're like, sit down. I was like, all right. So they were
hands on the bars.
Because I'm always dropping that one arm. So they were fussing at me about that. But also they're like, let me lay down in the middle of the street and have you zoom past me. Like,
they're going to pick and choose.
Do we have a permit for this? I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, we also you know that we also did a video for Harley, and that was really fun. It was crazy what can happen. It was just crazy what you do in a span of 18 hours in a day.
Yeah,
and then for them to like have to cut that down to a 2.5-3 minute video is insane.
Yeah. I think some of the best stuff they actually cut out. I think maybe because of legal issues, probably.
Oh yeah.
But, you know how that goes.
Yeah, it's funny. Harley was like, I was like, hey, listen, all the video and pictures you guys don't use, I'd love to get a copy of that. And they're like, yeah, no problem. I haven't got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've asked for it.
Good luck with that.
I've asked for it. No, it was a great time. We had so much fun. Shooting that video, and they were really cool. I'll tell you an interesting thing behind it, and you do a lot of camera work, so I think you'll appreciate this. But so this Harley thing, first of all, when they came to us and they said they wanted to do it, my first question was like,
why us?
Us? And she was like, yeah, they want to do the video on us. And I was like, but everyone that's done it so far has done really cool stuff. Why do they want to do it on us? And then they explained it a little bit and it started to make sense. Obviously my wife has done some amazing things in the motorcycle community. And I guess we're kind of a unique couple in the way that we ride together, and they wanted to feature, the relationship aspect of it. But we have this saying in our relationship, there's Murphy's Law and then there's Chuck's Law. Murphy's Law is if it can go wrong, it might. Right? Basically is what everybody gets that wrong. They say if it can't go wrong, it will. It's actually it might. And ours is it will go wrong. Chuck's law. That's it. Period. Chuck's law is it will go wrong.
It will.
You're going to get something thrown at you right at crunch time. That's just out of left field. So I'm so excited. We can't wait to do this video. We get told like 5 months ahead of time. So we're counting down the days. We're talking about where we're going to take them and all this stuff. And I'm like, got my beard done, looking good. 4 days before I wake up and my eye is swollen shut. Like I had an eye infection And
Let us
so
die.
it's like literally like my eye it's gross. It was gross. And I was like Zahara, how am I gonna be on camera? Right? And she was like, well, we're gonna be wearing a helmet most of the time. So anyways, but you can't tell when you watch the video because I asked them to shoot from the side.
I'm gonna be watching now.
I know, right?
I know you can
With
if you
with the left eye or the right
it's
eye?
a left
Which
eye.
It was his left eye.
If you look for it, you can see it. But
I'm gonna find it.
dude, I was so sick that day because on top of that, you know, I was like flu symptoms with it and stuff, and yet I was like, and then we went to go shoot, and it was sleeting.
Yeah.
It was like,
So like the weeks leading, it's April. So the days,
you know
Atlanta?
Georgia, you know Georgia,
you know
I
how
know.
you know how Georgia does. So the days before, it's like beautiful, nice 70s, 60s, nice, great.
Yeah.
The week that we go to freaking film, it's like a high of 29 in the morning, something crazy, like 39, and then it starts to sleet on us, and then we come back down after a couple hours in the mountain, and then it starts to like the sun
it's
comes
like
out.
summertime.
So we have like 4 seasons literally
One
in
day.
one day.
Oh, by the way, we were taking them to Blood Mountain in Suches, so we were like,
Nice.
let's go do Wolf Pin Gap while it's sleeting. It wasn't a
that work
smart
out?
idea.
Yeah, we were up there for like an hour, and then we're like, all right, let's come back down. Like I was freezing. I had the heated gloves on because it was so cold, and I was going numb. Like my hands, I couldn't feel them. I was like, I had to get down the mountain because I'm going to crash. But it was so fun. And then we went to Beaufort Dam and rode around there. And then it was like spring. And at the end of the day, it was summer.
That sounds like a typical Georgia day right there. Yeah, you got like
Right?
5 seasons in one day.
One day.
Yeah, it was funny. I even joked with them about that. I was like, you never know in Georgia. We could have winter in the morning and summer in the afternoon, and then lo and behold, that's
Yeah.
exactly what we had.
But we pushed through. It was fun.
You're originally from Jersey, right?
I'm New Jersey. I'm a New Jersey boy. Fist bumps and
Well,
all. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But you identify as a Southern cook though, so
I it's a large part of who I am and the kind of chef that I am because I really discovered my passion for being a chef down here. So I credit the South to a lot, but if anything, I'd probably say that my first true experiences in love with food kind of dates back to growing up, being Jamaican and my mom cooking for me. 'Cause
Okay.
Jamaican my soul food like curry goat, oxtails, jerk chicken, beef patties, pepper shrimp, bun and cheese, all that stuff. But the South, a lot of it kind of correlates where Southern food, Jamaican food, Caribbean food, they kind of all have roots from Africa. So they're very similar as far as the type of seasoning, the type of vegetables, the type of preparations. But like Jamaican food, that is the food that I really identify with. But Southern food is kind of like the palette, so to speak, where I bring that and kind of do reinterpretations of classic Jamaican dishes, Southern dishes, but also the refinement of my French training. So I'd probably say the best way to describe my food is kind of a culinary roadmap of foods that I was raised with and foods that I just love. And that's why I think food is so amazing because, there are, the basics of cooking, how to get a proper sear, cooking temperatures, cooking preparations. But as far as flavors go and recipes go, sky's the limit. You just kind of make it your own. And that's what excites me about food. Like I'm getting excited now. Like there's no limits to what you can do.
Yeah. What's your favorite food to cook? Like your favorite dish? If you were to say like, this is my specialty, what would that be?
he's like, listen, I've been asked this 3,000 times, so I have an answer.
You have an answer.
Jamaican oxtails. I love oxtails. That was my jam. That was like catnip for David growing up. I love oxtails, but like I gotta say, if it's not obvious by now, steaks. Open fire on the grill, ribeye, tomahawk, ribeye, bone-in, prime rib, on the grill. The cavemen got it right all those years ago. Meat, fire,
Works.
slice it up, eat it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
It works.
I'm a carnivore through and through.
It works.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It works.
It works.
Well, have you done the carnivore diet where you only eat meat?
Um, yeah.
You have?
Yeah, I did it for a week, but I
Yeah.
think, for me, I'm in the gym so much. I need a little bit of carbs to kind of give me energy. And the meat was great. The meat it's very filling, but I think granola, oatmeal,
Fruit.
whole
Yeah.
wheat bread, fruit, fiber. That stuff kind of gives me the energy and sustenance in the gym that I need.
Mm-hmm.
So great. I love it. It's amazing. But for what I do in the gym, I need some carbs. I need some
Okay.
Yeah.
carbs. A little
Okay.
energy. Yeah.
You need carbs in order to make more carbs
Yes,
because you're a
exactly.
cook, right?
Exactly. 100%.
I
100%.
don't know if that worked. I tried,
Yeah. I don't
but
know.
It works. It works.
it's interesting.
I'll
You know,
figure it out.
I noticed on your Instagram, and obviously, I'm a big dude. Put a lot of time in the gym. I know kitchens are tight. Has that ever become like a challenge for you, being kind of a big dude in the kitchen? You got to knock a couple people out of the way to get to what you
Yes.
need to.
Yes. I'm gonna stop right there. Yes.
Give me that spatula.
Yes. Yeah. It's rough, like especially when it's you and a bunch of other big dudes, and you're
Yeah.
like, you get big to be down here. Get your ass back up on the grill side over there. I'm gonna stay down here. Like get down there and work in the pantry. It's like you're bumping. It's hot. It's hot
Yeah.
as hell. You're sweating. You got the stress of getting all these orders out. And then you got this big dude just kind of draped over you. So, it's a lot, but, you work with it. And you bond more when you're closer.
Yeah.
In a very, bromance kind of way.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that? I'm sure you have, like the Kevin Hart special where he's talking about like the guy
T-Mobile.
working at T-Mobile.
No.
It's
which
an
one?
old. Oh my gosh, it's an old one.
Are you gonna try to do Kevin Hart's bit?
No, I'm not going to. But he's basically
Try and do it.
he's basically talking about how like this guy is like so huge, like
Working at T-Mobile.
T-Mobile, and like he's breaking all the headsets every day. Hey boss, I broke another one.
My favorite.
I think I saw that.
I think my favorite line is that he's just big as shit for no reason. You won. You got all the muscles. You won. You got them.
Exactly. So something like that minus the phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly like that. Exactly.
So what do you like? Like, how do you find your gigs for going and exploring the world and going on to like Good Morning America and like all the Food Network TV shows? Like, how did you get into that?
I'm the kind of person, I never meet a stranger, and I just love people, my mom's one of 13, I'm one of 8. And I come from a big family of just jovial jesters, cracking jokes and very personal. So I've always just kind of been very friendly kind of person. And the way that the Food Network Star gig came up, where I competed on Food Network Star in 2017, after the Harley thing came about, I was like, I love motorcycles. I love being a chef. Like, I'd love to somehow combine the best of both worlds and make a show. So I didn't know shit about shit when it came to TV, but I took a look out and I just hired different freelancers, cinematographers, videographers, and just kind of started traveling the country, talking to bikers who were chefs and cooks who rode motorcycles. I called it Bikes, BAKES, and Bites, BITES. So Bikes and
Nice.
Food. And I just started putting it out there on YouTube, And Food Network actually saw it, hit me up, and we kind of went back and forth with different show ideas for a while. They were like, you know what? We'd love for you to, do our show called Food Network Star. That's the best way to introduce you to our viewership. Would you mind doing it? So, I'm like, I don't know, because, I don't know if you know or not, reality TV really ain't reality TV. They can do whatever one
It's
you like.
scripted, yeah.
Get it. But I was like, you know what? The executives asked me to do it. I'll do it. And I did it. And it was the best decision ever at that point in my career to do, because it gave me international exposure. I did great on the show. I think I was received very well. So I was very happy with it. And even though I didn't win the show, I think I won the show because I got the notoriety and the fame from the show, and was able to kind of use that and parlay that, where at first I'd reach out to these different, production companies, TV shows, whether it be through friendship or management. And I'm the kind of guy, if you get me and put me on this show once, I guarantee you're going to invite me back. So I just got on one show. I think it was Hallmark Home and Family. And then from there, GMA started. And the show called Pickler and Ben started. And then Today's Show and Steve Harvey and Wendy Williams. And it's just kind of a snowball effect where wherever I go someplace, I meet and make friends. And it's not a matter of friendships through necessity or forced friendship. I generally like people. And when you make that connection, it's just, a continued open door. So I'm very thankful for that and thankful for what's to come next.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got.
I know you got some tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't talk about it.
Just getting warmed up.
Okay.
For the next interview.
What a jip.
I know. He said, "What a jip."
He's like, oh, I got some stuff coming. All except can't tell you about
To be
it.
continued.
It's like a Bob Lazar episode, like with the UFOs and stuff. He's like, oh, I can show you proof, just not on camera.
I don't care. Exactly.
That's exciting. So one of your things is to know me is to taste my cooking. So I guess we don't really know you because I haven't really tasted your cooking.
we gotta change that. At least in your cookbook. Yeah, we gotta make that happen.
I know.
That can be arranged.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I come from a large blended family. I grew up in rural South Carolina, and I've eaten a lot of crazy things because whenever you don't have much money, if you have a pig, you're gonna eat all that pig, right? If you have a cow, you're gonna eat all that
Everything.
cow.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've chewed through things like tripe and tongue pudding and blood pudding and brain pudding and all those great things, but I've never ever had oxtail.
Oxtail's
What?
good.
I've never had it.
That's not even the same thing.
I know. My point is like when he said that, I was like, I need to have oxtail. I've literally never had it. I've eaten crazy stuff in my life, but I've never had something that is his favorite food. I got to try it.
It is, and it's crazy. Like oxtails used to be cheap, $1.50, $2, $3 a pound, and oxtails are so mainstream now. Where actual fine dining restaurants have it, where oxtails $15, $16 a pound, and it's delicious. It's unctuous. It's very savory because it comes from the tail. So when it breaks down and that gelatinous fat just breaks down and gets tender and just kind of just combines and becomes homogenous with that meat. It's like little naughty bits, but delicious naughty bits in the best way possible.
Gelatinous doesn't get me stoked. That word doesn't. but the rest of it, I was with you. When you said gelatinous, I was like,
Well,
from
how intermuscular
the bone.
fat, ribeye.
Yeah. I'm just being
intermuscular
silly.
fat that melts inside of it. Plus, you get that gelatinous from the bone, from the marrow.
The marrow.
Bone marrow.
It works.
Yeah,
it works. Okay,
it does.
I'm gonna have to try some oxtail now.
I'm a fan. How about all of the foods that we grew up with that were, like you said, that were kind of just throwaway or people really didn't pay attention to, avocados these days, right? Mm-hmm. They become so popular you can't even find them in the grocery store sometimes.
Yeah. It is, and it's cool because they're being celebrated now, but it's not cool because the price is quadrupled, over the years because of that, notoriety and popularity. But I'm very proud to see a lot of Jamaican foods and those type of proteins come to the forefront more because of exposure.
Absolutely.
I tell you after 41 years how good these were.
Right?
I've found that over my life, my tastes have changed too, because when I was a kid, there's a lot of stuff that I would never touch. I wasn't eating avocado. That wasn't happening. But now don't let them be in the house. I eat them like candy. I'll just cut them up and just they're so good. A little salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you an avocado toast household?
I do. Yeah. I like them on. It's so good, and it's crazy because again, it's literally something that I'm mad at myself
that you didn't enjoy it previously.
That I had all this life when I wasn't eating avocados.
Yeah.
You got to make up for it now. Make up for lost time, dude. I believe in you.
I'm trying.
Exactly.
But
So when are you coming out to bike night next? Are you in town on the first week of July?
I should be. Yeah, I should be.
On the
Yes.
5th. So the day after 4th of July is our bike night
Okay.
at Jimmy's. So you should come out and hang. Bring the 131. Hopefully we'll have our freaking new bikes by then.
We should. They're almost done. It takes a long time. It's weird when you got like this bike you're building and you made like 5 payments and you've literally never been on the bike.
None.
Wait, so hold on. Are you keeping the old bikes or the old bikes already gone?
Now we sold all 4 of our old bikes and we took all of the profit that we got from those bikes and we dumped them into these bikes. So we're building 2 massive bikes right now.
Wow. So what's the ending output going to be on the new babies?
So, the 131s that we had on our current Road Glides, we ended up with 140 symmetrical, 140 on the HP, 140 on the torque. Yeah. With the 550 cam and the tuner and the pipes that we're using, our lowriders.
I'm hoping to get like around 145 and probably 158.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And the torque.
That's what I'm thinking.
Nice.
145 to 150 on the horsepower.
Yeah.
160 to 162 on the torque. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood.
We put the SNS 550 cams in there.
Yeah, we did the 550 cams. We
don't go higher than 550 though.
Yeah.
If you get a cam, just if you're riding just for street,
Yeah.
So one of our friends put like a 590, but that's if you're riding for racing.
Yeah.
You don't want to. You don't want to keep going on that cam,
and
it's gonna.
Yeah. And the problem with that is if you put a racing cam in the bike like a 590, and then something catastrophic happens like a lifter breaks, the first thing they're gonna say is that's not a street cam. So, my personal opinion, stick with the 550, or go with something from another manufacturer. I really like the 550 from SNS. It's got a good lope, some real good torque. Yeah, that's my jam. I like that one quite a bit.
Nice. That's a lot to think about. My warranty just ended last week, so like I'm on my Ivan Drago right now with the 590. You say don't do it.
I know, and you're gonna go that way.
If it dies, it dies.
Well, hey. Well, you have 2 bikes, right?
Yeah, I got 2 bikes.
If one of them is going to be a hot rod, put a 590 in it. I mean, if it's going to be a hot rod, put a 590 in it. But if it's going to be something that I think you have to consistently ride a lot, I would probably stick with like a 550. That's just
or 570
or 5. That's just my opinion.
But we'll talk after. I'll send you some recs on builders here after the show.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. I'd love that, because I want to kind of dig up in there and kind of tinker around because it's fast. It's really fast already, but it can be quicker. It can be bigger.
Yeah, I went tall on mine. So one of the things that I love, and I'll just be honest, is you said you rode sport bikes in the past. I rode sport bikes in the past. You always seem to do that when you're younger. Then you get older and wiser, and you get a Harley. Right? That tends to be how it works out, right?
It's so counterintuitive. Like Harleys aren't supposed to be fast.
I know.
We want to make them fast.
We want to make them fast.
I had a guy ask me one time. He was like, "Why would you spend?" And he's like, "This many thousands of dollars to make a Harley do what a Ducati will do out the box. Why do you care?"
It's my money.
That's always my question. Were you in my meeting last week? Were you at the were you in that board meeting where I was having to like present figures and stuff? I don't think you were. So this is my money. So who cares what I do with my money?
What's crazy, Chuck and Z? For me, it boils down to if I want to pass a trailer or a car, I want that passing power where I could do it and it's immediately receptive to the throttle. That's what I want. If I want it, it's there. I might not use it all the time, but if I want it, it's there.
Exactly. No,
yeah,
that's
why
right.
not?
That's so true. That's why I have a Scat Pack.
That is actually something that did make me think of something though, because we got haters in everything. Like there are haters everywhere. And I didn't realize how bad the epidemic of haters was until I'm going to ask you. So the question I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute, is do you deal with that? Like within the chef world, do you have like some guy who's like at the restaurant down the road, like, David Rose, he's all right, but this, and this, you know, so what, so, so we went down a rabbit hole the other day. You end up late at night watching YouTube and the algorithm shows you something. You're like, oh, that's interesting. And the next thing you know, you end up spending 3 hours watching nonsense, right?
Yeah.
So we started out watching people casting ant hills where they pour like aluminum into an ant hill and then they dig it up and it makes this crazy sculpture. It's like crazy. So like it was fascinating. And then I saw this one where they like pour concrete and it was like,
have you seen that before?
It's like 20 yards of anthill.
I have seen. So you like watching genocide of the entire.
Oh my God, that's what I was saying.
These poor ants.
I was like,
20 generations just gone like that.
Just gone. These dudes worked so hard to build it, and we're like, you know what we're gonna do? And it's always like people in Florida too. It's like, you know what we gonna do? We're gonna take some molten aluminum and we're gonna pour it down there and see what that some bitch makes.
And then they were like, look how it charred the ants perfectly.
Yeah, anyways.
I was
sad. Well,
so
I was like, there are tens of thousands of ants like dead.
Millions probably.
Millions probably.
Just they were just trying to protect the queen. And here comes hot molten death. But anyways, so it's fascinating to watch, and the stuff they pull out of the ground because the aluminum is so thin, it goes down in the chamber, so it follows the paths. So it's nuts. But anyways, so we watched that, and that led us to watching them casting hornet's nest, and then we ended up watching this guy who was doing bees. And so this, first of all, insane. The guy is literally knocking tens of thousands of bees out of this tree.
It was like a 5-pound hive.
Like with his bare hands, just smacking it. Like, and then he like finds the queen, which is, it's fascinating by the way, because he finds the queen. He's like showing you the queen and he puts her in a box and all the bees just start following the queen into the box. It's nutty. He calls it the march. But what cracked me up was at the end of it, he's like, and by the way, I just want to say to Johnny, that you keep talking shit about my videos that I don't have the biggest hives, but I got the biggest hives out here, and I had the first swarm this season. You can kiss my ass. And I was like,
we both cracked up laughing. We were like, oh my God.
In the bee world, they have haters.
There's haters in bee world,
bro. Haters everywhere, man. What did Puffy say? If you ain't got haters, you ain't popping.
Right.
That's right. Listen, man, you stop talking about my beehives.
I have the best beehives around. I was cracking up. Like, really? Bees. Of all things.
Bees.
So I imagine, I mean, high profile chefs, do you deal with that?
Not to my face, but I'm sure, there's a little animosity.
We're kind of swollen.
You don't read the comments. You don't read the comments.
I just post stuff and I respond to the positive stuff, but with anything you do, if you're worried about what somebody else is saying or doing, you're not going to ever really meet your true, potential. You're not going to really meet those goals you want to do. You're going to consistently be listening to that background music, and that is background music. So fade out them bee haters. Johnny, stay your ass in your corner. Let him do his thing.
Exactly.
I knew you were going to have some David Goggins shit. Some like, ignore the haters. That's fuel, bro. That's fuel.
They hate us because they ain't us.
There you go. That's so cool. So you have So you have top secret stuff coming up soon. But you're going camping. So do you know where you want to go camping this time?
That is a good question. I'm thinking I'm going to kind of go around and kind of, the Southeast, maybe Carolina.
Yeah.
Again, there's a couple places in Tennessee I have not gone yet that I want to go to.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I might trail the bike for this one. So that kind of bike as well and kind of have a mixed kind of bag of nuts as far as the trip. We'll see. But I like off-roading also, so that might present a little bit of a difficulty with the trailer on the back.
The trailer?
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm going to have to that in off-road. But yeah, Southeast, something local.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely have to get together for a ride, get all the road glides together.
See, I'm going to have to get up in the engine before I come message y'all because
come on.
what y'all not going to do is going to blast and leave me. I'm going to be right there in the middle, or I'm going to be, a little bit ahead.
A little ahead?
I'm not going to blast. You're not going to blast and leave back there.
No.
Okay.
We'll see, Chef David Rose. We'll see on that one. I've heard that one before.
Don't give me the mid-tier mechanic recommendation. I want the top tier, the elite
engineer.
No.
You'll get the top tier.
No,
for sure.
we'll yeah. Look, I know of 2 really good builders in this market, and I highly recommend them. So
Nice.
we'll definitely get you connected with them.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm
And
excited. Looking forward to hanging.
And
Yeah.
I need to get some advice from you because I'm at the beginning of my overland journey. So
Nice.
I've actually I've gone and looked at overland adapters for my truck bed. So I've got I have a TRX, and I want to get one of those overland where you can sleep over the cab of it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I have an
Yeah.
iCamper.
Canopy?
I recommend it highly. It's
Yeah?
a rooftop tent iCamper. I'll send you some deets on that. I absolutely love mine. It's super comfortable.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. I want something like that to where we can pull the bikes and
Mhm.
camp it either in
In
the
the
trailer or in the bed of the truck and
Yeah.
just self-contained and long trips. Like we were actually talking about doing that when we go to. Are you going to Sturgis this year, by the way?
It's crazy. I've never been. I've been looking at my
Oh.
calendar. I'm thinking I might have a little bit of time.
Come
a little bit of
on.
opportunity to
Dude.
do so. Are you guys going?
Yeah, we got a house. We got a house with some good friends, and we
Oh,
all of these bikes are modded bikes, performance Harleys. We're right next door to a big group of performance Harleys as well. You got to
Nice.
come, man. Come hit us up.
I would love to. I would love to, and I've been thinking actually about going to Milwaukee for the anniversary as well.
We'll be there
We'll
too.
be there.
Come
All
on.
right, we gonna sidebar. We gonna
Yeah, we'll sidebar
Yeah.
after this.
got some riding to do. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, listen, man. I've truly enjoyed talking to you. I was so excited when Z said you were available to do the show. I mean, again, you and I've never had the opportunity to meet in person. It's been on one of the things like I got to meet that guy at some point. Got to come to bike night. Got to come
Yeah.
out and
I'm
hit us
coming.
out. Yeah, and then
I'm coming.
but if you wouldn't mind, man, hit all your social media. Where can people find you? Where can they follow you? All that good stuff.
Yeah, you can go to my website, www.chefdavidrose.com, Instagram, Chef David Rose, Facebook, Chef David Rose, Twitter, Chef David Rose, TikTok. I haven't quite cracked out that little nugget yet, but
I
Chef
don't.
David Rose as well. But yeah, hit me up on there, and I'll gladly reply. Hit me in the DM, slide in. I'll reply back as well. Willing to talk about food, motorcycles, whatever. But thank you guys. And I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out my homegirl, Keisha, who actually introduced us at that first bike night I met Z at. So, Keisha,
Yeah.
thanks for making that intro. That's my homie. We go back way back.
That's awesome. Thank you,
No
Renita.
doubt. Renita, y'all know it's Renita. I know it's Keisha.
I
Hey,
know. I don't know her as Keisha. I was like, hold up, who's this? Who's this fake person, Keisha, that you're talking? I'm kidding.
Keisha. That's
All
a
right.
good name.
You know what? I'm gonna call her Keisha, and she's probably gonna be like, who told you my code name?
That's how I know it, so I'm gonna call it Keisha.
Okay, Keisha. I have to remember that. Awesome. Well, definitely looking forward to seeing you again, and actually
doubt.
knowing you for real by trying some of your food. So we'll have to get together for some food here shortly too.
And my man, next time in studio, got to have you in the studio. The couch is ready. Come in. It's a little bit of a different vibe, whenever you're actually here in person. So looking forward to doing that. And we're not that far
Okay.
away. We're right outside of Atlanta.
Okay, I might bring some oxtails then, so I can catch your real time reaction to it.
I don't know if
know?
I don't have a big green
Nice.
egg. I do have a couple of grills though. You can hit up if you'd like to, but I don't have the big green egg. Just as a warning.
That's all good, man. That's all good. No worries.
I need one, though, right?
Smoking and grilling. Hey, at least get the book. At least get the book.
I told.
And give you the flavor right there.
There you
Eggin
go.
right there.
Eggin with
But
David Rose.
with me, yeah. But the great thing about it is you could cook them inside any grill, stovetop, in the oven. As long as you got the recipes, the marinades, the sauces.
The sauce.
Good.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much,
Thank
man.
you so much for coming on.
Take
Chef.
care.
No doubt.
Z,
My pleasure. Thank you.
hit the like. Hit your stuff.
Yeah, so make sure you like and subscribe, guys. We're losing followers by the moment.
No,
Just kidding.
what?
I'm kidding.
We didn't lose any followers. What are you talking about? But I was actually going to say thank you because last week I made a plea because I get beat up. Like, again, Z gets all upset. She's like, Chuck, I say it every week and they're not doing it. But like this week we actually picked up. We did pick up some subscribers this week. So truly appreciate it, guys.
I know.
We'll be back next week. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Chef. Good to talk to you.
Thank y'all. Peace.
All right. Peace.
I'll holla.
All right. Ocean, you see on the end where it says end broadcast? There you go. Just over on the right. Hit that. Finish.